Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please click on like and subscribe. If you've been here before, welcome back. Take a second to drop a comment in the box below. Today we're going to be working on building a clock. As you can see, we're going to be working on the bear today, but we do have other clocks that we make. And I usually make them out of scrap or end cuts after we make bigger pieces of furniture. Whatever's left over becomes a pile like this. We'll try to use our pieces down to the smallest pieces possible, and at the end, when we're down to super small pieces, we usually sell those in finished boxes. We have like an A box, a B box that we sell online. The B box is a little bit more rough cuts. The A box is usually sanded and pretty much a finished piece of wood that is just left over, too small for us to use. So the first thing I want to do is decide what size I want my clock. This clock is going to be 12 by 9. So I'm going to make a 13 by 10 basically block of wood here. I'm going to cut it out of one block of wood. We're going to be using a CNC machine and a laser today. So I'm just going to get this cut down and I'm going to plane it down just to the point where it's clean. You can go down to 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, whatever you want. The mechanisms I use for the clocks, they come from overseas. We won't say exactly where, we all know where. But they're about a 1/2 inch thick, and the shaft on them you can get different lengths depending on the size of material you're cutting through. And once I get the edges shaved off this, we're going to be heading over to the planer, and again we're going to plane this down just to the point where it's clean on both sides. So 3 or 4 passes on each side here, and we should be clean enough to do what we want to do. And then I'm going to just take some sandpaper. I'm going to use a 120 and just sand it down, make sure there's no imperfections in the face of the board. This doesn't have to be perfect because, again, we're going to throw this in a laser and a CNC, so it's going to need sanded again. But I do want to get any humps, lumps, chunks, anything other that the laser may hit and cause a bad burn mark, or any chips that I might not have seen when I threw it through the planer, since I am using leftover pieces of wood that weren't good enough for what I wanted to do with them in the first place. I want to make sure there's no imperfections in the wood. Now, this really isn't a video on how to work a CNC machine or how to work the laser machine. This is just on how to make the clock, so I'm not going to go over in depth how we make our designs and stuff like that. But as you can see here, we've got different designs for different products on here that we design ourselves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out the design I want. In this case, I'm going to use the bear. I'm going to lay in the bear. We're going to cut the outline of it out on the CNC machine. We're going to put it back to the laser. We're going to laser the engraving we want on the bear, including the clock. And then we're going to put it back on the CNC machine one more time to cut in the insert for the clock mechanism on the back of it. Now, I've sped this up, of course, and I'm cutting out sections of it because who wants to sit here for 2 hours and watch a bear being cut out on a CNC machine? If you want to do that, I can upload videos. Let me know of just the CNC machine working. Some people like to watch just, I guess they call them satisfying videos of things like this being done. Me personally, I don't want to watch 2 hours of a bear being cut out with a CNC machine, even though I'm the one cutting it out. I'm still doing something else in the meantime while this bear's getting cut out. So while that's finishing up, you can see I've got my design over here on my laser program now. And this is where I want the center of my clock to be. So I'm just going to make a rough drawing on here where the center of my picture is going to be. I'm still going to have to do some overlaying and some moving to make it perfect. But this will give me a general idea of where the center of my project should start on the laser. Now this is a tough part because if you get this wrong, you're going to laser off the surface. So it's not going to look right. And I'm going to show you one more thing you can do if this is the first time doing it, if you're doing this video to learn how to do this. You can make a template using a piece of like 1/4 inch ply and actually burn and cut your design out with it, and then you can overlay it on your bear. The problem with the laser program and the CNC program, since they're two different programs, if you try to shrink and increase the size of your bear on the laser program, the trees and the clock face move around a little bit, and then you have to relay them out so they're perfect. So let's say you're going to make this clock every time. You're going to make a 12 inch wide by 9 inch tall bear every single time. What I would do is I would cut out a template for it, which I have done when I first started doing these, and just kept the templates of 8 inch bear, 10 inch bear, 12 inch bear, whatever it was, in a pile. Then when you cut out the outline of the bear like this, you cut out an 8 inch bear, 10 inch bear. You can take the template that you've got laid over top of it, mark the center up, put it on the laser, and hit the button, and you don't have to worry about it printing off your surface. Now you'll notice I also haven't cut the tabs out yet on the CNC part. I've left those in there so when I put them in the laser, I've got a block you can't see in the laser that is flush with my laser face, so I know it's a flat line. And instead of trying to line the bear with feet up so the bear is straight up and down, I can use my flat surface in the bottom there and just bump it up against it. And that way I know it's a nice straight line and I can start cutting from where it is without having to remeasure again. Now once again, I've cut out a bunch of steps on this. Just left a little bit on it so you can see me repositioning, reprogramming here. If I wanted some different trees, if it was going to a different part of the country or something like that, I could change the style of trees. But I'm just overlaying this into a frame that I know is the exact same size as my cutout. Once I get this done, I'm going to put it on a 1/4 inch piece of ply just to show you how it makes it a little bit easier to line up your project. If not, I've already got my markings on my board. I could just throw my board in there, hit the button on it, and go. This takes about 20 minutes for this to cut out. Once I get it cut out, as you can see, I've got a little hole marked right here. That's the actual center of my laser pointer. It looks completely different from the center of where your middle of your clock is, and that's why it can be confusing. If you're not careful, you can get this off center. And again, most of the time if you're doing a design like this, you want some spotting in the feet like of the bear, and you want spotting in the trees. So it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but you want to get as close as possible every time. Once I've got my center point lined up on my bear, this is our actual clock here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the button on it and let it do its thing. And now this, I've got the resolution set higher and stuff like that on this, so this takes probably, I want to say this took an hour and a half for this to completely burn. Now while that was burning, of course, I was working on another project. I've set up the drill press to press a 1/4 inch hole in the center where the clock goes. Now you can use a drill bit, you don't need a drill press for this. You just want to make sure you go straight down through the center of it. And same on the back, when you go to put in the mechanism, you can do it old school. You can use a chisel, you can just use a drill and drill it out and then just square it up if you want to. It's just a lot easier if you have this extra bit of equipment to make this happen, but it can be done without the equipment. So I'm going to flip it over and you can see I didn't punch all the way through, I just left a mark there. I'm just going to sand it off on the back so I can find my hole. And then I'm using a 1/4 inch CNC bit, and that's why I did a 1/4 inch hole for the clock. And that way I can just drop my pilot hole right down in the middle of that and then carve my clock mechanism insert from that 1/4 inch hole to start with. Now that all my measurements are done, everything's cut pretty much except for that centerpiece. I'm going to go ahead and cut my tabs out here. Again, you can cut your tabs whenever you want, but to me it's easier with a square piece of wood just to keep lining things up the way I do. I'm not going to worry about sanding it yet. I'm just going to knock the tabs off. We're going to put it back in the CNC machine face down this time and cut that clock mechanism out of the back of it. Once this is clamped in place, again, I've got a program set up here. I've already got it set up to cut my mechanisms out, and I'm going to line my pilot bit up with the hole in the middle of the bear where the clock mechanism is. This is not the center of the bear, this is the center of the clock because I'm cutting out the clock mechanism back, not anything on the bear. And same thing as before when the bear was cutting out, I just sped this up so you don't have to watch 15 minutes of this thing cutting a square in the back of a bear. And after that, we've got our bear cut out and our clock mechanism ready to be inserted. And we're going to go over to the table and we're going to do some sanding. I'm going to sand off the tabs, any other rough edges I see around it. Excuse me. And just sand along the trees and things like that. Now when you're sanding a laser etching, there's a couple ways you can do laser etching. Some people just use like an isopropyl alcohol or something like that to remove the, it's kind of like a tar or a burnt piece of wood around the edge of your laser. If you've got a duller laser or a lower wattage laser, it tends to leave more residue than others. So to remove that residue, you can use alcohol or you can use a sander like I'm doing here. Now the sander, if you're not careful, or if you are trying to not hit your burnt area, if you hit your burnt area with your sander, guess what's going to happen? You're going to knock the burn off of it and you're going to have nice clean wood under it. So you got to be careful to leave the burn in, but not leave the resin on, if that makes any sense. Now some of these, like this, anything I do with trees and stuff, I'll show you the finished product here in a second, but when you hit over them, if you take a little bit of that burn area off and leave some, brown shining back through it, it actually helps highlight it and make it stand out a little bit better. But again, if you dig in too deep or if you tilt the sander up and down a little bit, you're going to knock out the black and it's going to look pretty bad. Now, on the other hand, if you're going to epoxy fill this, go ahead and knock all the black out that you can, and then take isopropyl alcohol, clean it all out, get all the residue out, because you want good bonding surface for the epoxy to stick to. And then after I get my little fuzzies sanded off the back here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some air, blow some air on it. Now, the same thing with compressed air. If you've got a good air compressor, which I do, if you start blowing the front off, you can actually blow the black out of the burn-in surfaces. So you want to be careful not get your nozzle too close. Don't put too much pressure on it. And again, as you can see, I'm blowing some of that out because I want the trees to look like they have some texture to them. I don't want it to just look like a big black burnt thing. But again, this is just you and your artistic styling, however you want to make it look. Now, I know my clock mechanism fit because I do this all the time, but just for the video purposes, insert your clock mechanism, make sure it fits and everything before you finish your product up. That way you know for a fact it fits. Now, they make these with different length shafts, so again, if you need a longer shaft, shorter shaft, make sure you measure wood before you order those if you're going to order these and build them yourself. Last step is to clean it up and oil it, and I'm just using wax and feed from local box store. You can use mineral oil on this. You can leave it plain. Depending on what wood you're using, if you're using a maple or something lighter, you can paint these. You can actually paint the walnut if you wanted to. Most people just don't paint the walnut. They want to keep it that nice dark walnut color. The only thing with a walnut clocks need to go into bright lit rooms just because they're dark. That's the nature of the wood. It's a dark wood. So make sure you're putting this in a bright lit room. If not, use a lighter wood. Use like maybe a cherry. If it's, a dimly lit room, or even a walnut if it's a really poorly lit room. That way you can actually see the wood in the design. But as you can see, the pattern comes out really nice on here. The oil soaks really good down in the burn. Use a lint-free cloth. Don't use a paper towel. If you use a paper towel or something like that, when you're getting down these cracks and crevices, it will leave little pieces of paper towel all over the place, and then you just got a mess cleaning it back up when you're done. I didn't put a whole lot of oil in this. The rag I'm using has already been used 5 times a day on other projects, so it's already saturated. But you don't want to over oil it. You don't want big puddles gooped everywhere. You just want to take your time and rub this in real good. After it sits for a couple hours, you might see a couple spots that dry out. Some of the wood will be a little bit different and more porous than other parts, and it may soak it in a little bit. So I usually try to do this twice before I put them up for sale. If not, I'll just polish them up real quick right before they go out the door. That way they've got a nice clean coat on them when they go out. So now it's time for my clock mechanism. Now I've got these in different sizes. Again, that little gold shaft there comes in like 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 20 millimeter, 30 millimeter, depending on how thick a wood you're going through. So if you're going to do this for a living, you might want to get you some different sizes. Just because they all don't turn out the same unless you're building the same exact thing over and over and over again. They're not super expensive. They just run off a little AA battery. The biggest problem with any clock that I've found, no matter whether it's an inexpensive mechanism or an expensive mechanism, are the hands are super, super flimsy on them. So they bend really easy. And if you got big, I say big hands. If you've got sturdy hands that bend things super easy, these are difficult to do. Now the next thing you run into is your clock mechanisms usually come with 10-inch hands they call it 8 to 10-inch clock, but they're too long for the clock itself. As you can see, that's how they came out of the box. So I'm going to have to nip these down. They come with several different styles of hands. Most of the clock mechanisms do. They'll give you 5 sets of mechanisms. So I've just got a set of metal snips. If you've got a set of 10 snips, a set of pliers, anything that will cut metal fairly clean, I just cut these down to size. Now it limits your size and shape you can put on clocks like this, but for a normal 10-inch clock, there's a variety of hands that you can use, so you don't have to use a generic straight hand like this one. And yes, before someone drops a comment below, you can get mechanisms for 2-inch clocks, 4-inch clocks, 6-inch clocks, 8-inch clocks. I just mainly build 10-inch or larger. Every now and then I have a scrap piece of wood or I want to do a custom design like this, so I make it work. The thing of it is your mechanisms, even though they come from the same place, they look the same, they're not always the same. So if you buy, let's say we buy 4-inch hands or 6-inch hands for a clock like this, they probably are not going to fit on the shaft of the clock mechanism like you think they would. So you got to be careful with doing that also. But yes, you can buy different mechanisms if you're going to do multiple clocks. But again, using up a piece of scrap wood, I'm not going to go buy a separate mechanism when I can make it work out of the pieces I've got and it still looks like it should look in the first place. So with that piece taken out of the back, you just hook it on a hook on the wall, and there it is. Hope you liked the video. Please click on like and subscribe. Drop a comment below.